So just we discussed the varieties of benign and malignant tumor. Means that from which tissue, which means benign tumor is developed, and what we called it, and what we called if it is malignant. Means there is just terminology. So if the tumor is developing in the epithelial tissue, that covering epithelium, so the is in the squamous epithelium, the benign tumor is called as squamous cell papilloma. But if it is malignant, then it is called squamous cell carcinoma. So now these are the difference that with different terms. So just remember the terms. If there is transitional benign tumor, then it is transitional cell papilloma. If it is carcinoma, then it is malignant, then it is transitional cell carcinoma. As same if in the columnar epithelium, if it is uh, benign, then it is called papilloma, and if it is malignant, then it is called adenocarcinoma. So it's just like the terminology, you just go through all these terms just to remember the term. It means if in the report or somewhere you say there is the papilloma, okay, so it means that is benign. So papilloma is always benign, and if it is carcinoma, then it is malignant. So the tissue developed from the connective tissue. Connective tissue means that our muscles, blood, bones, so all the tissue developed from the connective tissue. All the malignant tissue developed from the connective tissue, that is called sarcoma. That is different term. This is also malignant, but in spite of the using carcinoma, here we are using the term sarcoma. Understand the difference between sarcoma and carcinoma? When the malignant carcinoma develops from the connective tissue, then it is called sarcoma. Other than all tissue, then it is called carcinoma. The same as in the nerve sheath, neurofibroma, and it is malignant, then this is called neurosarcoma. In the fat, this is lipoma. If it is malignant, liposarcoma. Must just the same. Just these are some few terms only. Just go through these terms to know that exact means. Suppose if somewhere this is written osteoma. Okay, so you must not be confused. You must know that what is uh, sarcoma and what is carcinoma and what is osteoma or what is osteoblastoma. Thus, these are the terms. Just go through these terms. So now we just move to just some important next important things, some etiological factors. Although we know that there is no exact etiology till date, we have found for the etiological factor for the cancer, developing of the cancer, but there are few factors which certainly they are always present in all the type of the malignant tumor, because sometimes it happens that a person having malignant tumor may not have all these type of the factors, but most of the malignant tumor must have some of these factors common. So first thing is that the hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons are the that organic compounds that are most likely uh, causing causative factor of that malignant tumor. So that important that these hydrocarbons that found in the tar. There are few researchers. There's some tar. You know the tar that is used to making roads and some other. So there is the benzpyrene, one tar. The scientists had separated this benzpyrene and regularly used on the ear of the rat. After 6 months, that rat got the malignant tumor. Means that these hydrocarbons is present in the tar must be having some carcinogenic properties. Add some other hydrocarbons, that is polycystic aromatic hydrocarbon, called PAH. So this polycystic aromatic hydrocarbon presents in the smoke. So that's why most of the cigarette smokers uh, means that the smoking cigarette is injurious to health, because that smoke may have that polycystic aromatic hydrocarbon that may cause the malignant cancer in that person. And some other hydrocarbons as beta naphthalene, so that is present in the dye. So some person working in the dye industries, the coloring industries, that may have the exposure of the hydrocarbon and causing the malignant tumor in the urinary bladder. So these are some kind of that hydrocarbons which have few relations in with the always with the patient with a malignant carcinoma that have some exposure of these hydrocarbons. Next thing is the sex hormone. So the sex hormones, that estrogens, testosterones, these are produced in our gonads, in females in the ovaries, and the males in the testes. So these hormones have some relations of the developing malignant cancers, just like in the breast, in the females, the patient having a high level of the estrogens may causes that breast cancer, as well as that uterus or cervical cancer. So, and in the males, that high level of constant high level of the testosterone is the constitutive factor for that prostatic carcinoma. So these hormones always found some relations in the patient with the malignant carcinoma. So that's why we can say these hormones are the carcinogenic always if they are in the improper amount at the improper age. In the young age, that's why that these, because these hormones are controlled up to that up to the young age, up to 30, 40, 40, 45 age. After that, when there is some imbalance in the body and in the hormones develops later stage of the life, that time they cause the malignant cancers. Next thing, the radiation, that is mostly common, that most found the patient who has exposed the x-rays radiation for the longer time, so that may develop that malignant tumors, malignant cancers of the skin. Skin cancer is mostly found in the patient exposed to the radiations, especially x-rays. There is some found the relation with there are few diseases which transmitted through milk. So there are few researches where we found that these transmission of uh, the carcinogens from mothers to baby, that happens due to some viruses. That is because no other things, no other factor has been excluded from in that part when the any cancer is developing from mother to the that next generation. So that may be that any viruses. So the name is still not identified, but these few viruses which can spread through mother to the baby and causes the malignant carcinomas. So these are the major four factors, and some co-carcinogenic factors means if a person having above four factors, and along with exposure of these co-carcinogenic factors, then the chance of the developing of that malignant tumor becomes very much high. First is the heredity. Heredity means the family history is very much important in the cancer patients. If in the family any cancer has trended to develop any in all the generation, then upcoming generation may have that kind of the genetics or some factors which is not exactly identified, but the tumor that malignant cancer has shows the property flowing in the generations to generations. So if person has history of that some kind special kind of that cancer in the family, so just he or she should be little aware and just to go for the regular checkups and all that to if there is developed cancer, so early identifications become important for the treatment purpose. So next is the chronic irritation. Chronic irritation means when a particular tissue getting inflammation or some kind of irritation, that may be either some traumatic irritation, either infective irritation, either inflammatory irritation, means some kind of tissue is getting continuous irritation from any kind of that irritation may be any kind of the agent that may have chance to develop of that malignant carcinoma. That the example of that in the that Kangri cancer is common in the Kashmiris females. Kangri cancer called that in the Kashmir because due to that very cold temperature that females they just carry one small a small pot with the having some coal, uh, warm coal inside their clothes, so to keep them warm. So later on that tar, that smoke or the heat, that causes the irritation and the development of the cancer on that abdominal area. So these type of the factors are important, that if any tissue of any tissue of the body is getting irritant, continuous irritant from any kind of the agent, then that tissue may have developed that malignant tumor in the later stage. Next is trauma. So it has been seen that in some patients that some trauma just aggravate some tumors or some cancers, especially in the bone cancer, that is the osteosarcoma. Or osteosarcoma is found in the patients when a person is getting injury, that bone injury at the same spot, then the person has the developed of the osteosarcoma in the later stage. Either sometime that become latent, we just we the dormant, we just discussed in the last class that some dormant cancer is present and that can get that triggered by that simple one trauma. So that osteosarcoma get triggered by the trauma, and then it that hemorrhage, and that it's in very rapidly increasing in size and presenting symptoms. There few diets, means some diet, exact diet is difficult to say, but there is some relations have been found in the patients that certain type of diet may causes that malignant carcinoma. Just in the patient of the liver cancer, the history was found the patient have the diet with very low in vitamins. So so that we can say there is some relation between the very vitamin low diet and the liver cancers. So these kind of that um, relations have been found, that so it's called co-carcinogens. At the fat cooked at high temperature, that may cause the as we know that in Meghalaya, that that esophageal cancer is very much common. And here we see the food which is baked food, because and some non-veg food which is baked, means they suddenly get high temperature. If you any food is cooked in very high temperature, that could that type of the food may have some develop some carcinogenic properties. So these are the few relations. I mean these type of the diet may develop the or may aggravate the development of the malignant cancers. And so some geographical areas is there, geography is there, means some kind of tumor is some kind of cancer is common in that, in some particular area, just like that esophageal cancer is common in that Meghalaya areas, and that thyroid cancer is common in some in UP and Bihar areas, that Tarai areas, uh, and some the prostatic cancer is common in a few area of the Punjab. So these are few areas which have developed a particular type of the cancer. So there's and so that's say some geographical distribution, that behind the reason behind this may be that the diet, the lifestyle of some agents that were found in the water or the air. So that may be some other things which is associated with this geographical distribution of this type of the malignant cancers. But some relations have been found. That's why we just these type of the five type of the co-carcinogens uh, things are there. So in the next slide, how the spread of that malignant tumor, how the malignant tumor is spread to the one part of the body to the other part of body. So the six type of the spread have been shown by this malignant tumors. So one by one we just discuss. First, the local or direct spread. Local spread means when the malignant cells are invaded a nearby tissue uh, directly, means they are not traveling by any other any carrier, they are not using any kind of carrier, that lymph, blood or serous. They are just directly crawl and go invade in the tissue, because it is found that malignant cells have has the characters just like the amoeba. As the amoeba has some pseudopodias and walk with their own pseudopodias, and they are mobiles, that and as the same that malignant cells has the correct amoebic characters. That's why these cells are mobile, because we have discussed in last lecture that the difference between the malignant and benign is that there is no strong capsule or covering around that malignant cells. That's why these cells are free. These are not very firmly adhered to that central part or the of the cancer, so they are very loosely arranged. So that if they found that the space, and that they found the least less resistance, so in that part they just crawl and go and invade that tissue. Maybe that the reason behind this, that malignant cancer always the cells of the malignant cancer have the very less in the calcium. That's why they are they shows very less resistance in that tissue. So and they are flexible, so easily they move from one part to the other part directly without using any kind of the carrier. So this is called the local spread or the direct spreads. Next is that invasion. So there is two type of the phenomena is there. Uh, Sorry, in the next thing, that invasion by the lymphatics means when the cancer cells or the malignant cells travel from one tissue, one part of the tissue to the other part through the lymphatics. So there are two type of the mechanism. They use two types of mechanism for that traveling through lymphatics. One is the permeation and other is the embolism. So you know the embolism is just they fall some aggregate together and start blocking that lymphatics, and initially they develop a nidus, and they just collect and just uh, is that just a block in the lumen, and after that when the embolus is break, then small in the they just travel through limbs in the small clumps and bend the other tissue, and whenever they get the struck and favorable environment, so where they start that growing again. So this is the embolism. Next is the permeation. Permeation is when the malignant cells are growing in the axis of the lymphatics. Means this is the suppose this is the lymphatics, this is the lymphatic channel. So the growth is two type of the growth, means these two axes, the x and y. So these malignant cells can grow, means can travel either in x direction and the y direction. So if to develop in the either direction, they have to cross the lymphatic walls. But what is the permeation process? Permeation means when the malignant cells are growing inside the lumen along the axis of that. This is the axis of the lymphatics. So they are growing in the lumen of the lymphatics along the axis of these lymphatics. So what we done, that later on with they just grows from one part of the lymphatics to the other part, and with the growing they are blocking that complete lymphatics. So that in that purpose, that manner, these permeation and embolism, they travel one part to the other part. So that's why they're blocking that lymphatics. That's why in the few malignant tumors, there is a few characters which are found, that is in the breast cancer, that is peau d'orange. Peau d'orange means that is this is the French term. Peau d'orange means that skin, the texture of the skin of the breast looks like the peel of that orange peel. Means that skin is looks like the orange surface of the orange, as the because there is the due to the blocking of the lymphatics, there is the lymphoedema occurs in the skin part. So there is some swelling, which where that 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 skin that the the hair follicles are looks very differently. This depressed part and other part is swells up just like in the orange. So this is the lymphatics, and some yeah, other different type of the tumors which are travel through the lymphatics, that are has a very special appearance. Just the tumor, all the tumor from the GI tract, gastrointestinal tract, from the liver, from the lungs, they start growing, and from the even from the testis. So they travel through the lymphatics and block that thoracic duct. So that's the retrograde, that embolism occurs in that cervical, they hear supraclavicular lymph nodes. So that's why that they get and stuck there. So that enlargement of the lymph nodes, supraclavicular lymph nodes, it present in the malignant cancer of the lungs, liver, GI tract, or from the testis. So that this is called Troyer signs, and these lymph nodes are called Virchow lymph nodes. So these Virchow lymph nodes present in the case of the malignant cancer of that testis, malignant cancer of the GI, malignant cancer of the lungs. So these Virchow lymph nodes, presenting of the Virchow lymph nodes, this is called the Troisian signs. So these thing, why this is present? Because they are these type of cancer travel through the lymphatics. Next is the through blood vessels. So very few type of the cancer travel through the blood vessels. When the cells are they loosely arrange, and they invade the wall of the blood vessels and goes into the veins. Most of these spread occurs through the veins, because the veins has very less velocity and the walls of the veins are thin, and they are and the walls of the artery is very thick, so they show very much resistance. So that's why the cancer cells may not go through the arterial wall, and but they can they feel the very less resistance in the venous wall, so they can enter easily in the venous wall. That's the most of the cancers travel through the blood, occurs through the venous distributions. So these there are few characteristics tumor which usually spread through the veins. Just like the liver is the most common site where the metastasis occurs, metastatic tumor found in some other part, because liver is the major organ of our body where the metabolism occurs for all kind of that chemicals materials what we eat. So final metabolism happens in the liver only. So that's why if some GI tumor means all the blood have to comes once in the livers, and in the liver there is some sinus, means the blood stays for longer time, and there is sinus, so huge amount of blood comes to the liver. So that's why the liver is the most common site where the secondary malignant cancers present. Suppose from the tumors present in the skin or in the bone, and it will travel to the that venous system and comes to the through the inferior vena cava and comes to the liver. So that place they stay and develop the secondary tumors. And the second most common place for the developing the that secondary malignant tumor through blood, that is the lungs, and third is the bone. So these are all the organs where the blood stays little longer time. So that may be the reason behind the developing of that secondary tumors in that parts. Next, through serous cavities. Serous, there our organ has few cavities, one pleural cavity, abdominal cavity, the pelvic cavity. So what happens when a cancer develop in the cavity in particular organs, so that may after the inflammation it causes the exudation there, so that the cancer cell travel through exudations and uh, comes freely in that cavity. That so after that coming into the cavity, they may invade any body part and may causes the secondary or metastatic cancer in other body parts. Just like a tumor from that breast can after getting in can move through serous discharge, serous cavity, and through move into the pleural cavity and develop the cancer in the lungs. So the breast cancer, malignant cancers can develop can metastasis and grow into the liver and can go into the lungs, or some tumor, malignant tumor in the GI tract may travel to that abdominal cavity through, may goes into the that ovaries or that pelvic organs, the bladder and other rectum. Means in the same cavity through secretions when the uh, that malignant cells are traveling through these cavities by the exudative secretions. Next thing is that natural passage. In our body there are some natural passage, just like that esophagus to stomach to intestine through rectum, and then comes out. So this is one natural passage. Other natural passage from that pharynx, then that larynx, and then that bronchus and to the lungs. Okay, so these type the some that from kidney to that urinary bladder to urethra. So these are the natural passages. So when the tumor travels through these natural passages, it happens that tumor present in the kidneys may travel to the ureter and comes to the these malignant cells travel to the ureter and come to the urinary bladder, and here in the bladder they develop secondary carcinoma, malignant carcinoma. So these tumor developed in the bronchus can grow into the going to lungs in the one particular lobules, and there they develop some kind of the malignant cancer. So these kind of the travels the through natural passes can present in the malignant cancers. The next thing is the inoculation. Inoculation means this usually happens during the surgery. Uh, while by the mal handling or that when the unskilled or less skillful surgeon is doing the surgery. So means while the surgery, when the tissue is excising or tissue is handling, so if you are handling some malignant cells in the any instrument, and later on if your same instrument you are using in other body parts with these malignant cells, because the cells are very small, so it happens that sometime uh, during surgical procedure, one kind of the malignant cells travel to the other body part by the surgical technique, faulty surgical techniques. So that is called inoculation, because it has been seen a patient of the breast cancer while the surgery, if they require that skin graft, and skin graft taking at the same time from the thigh. So after the closing of the wound of the thigh, after a few years, that breast cancer is from the breast is gone, but there is some nodules or some tumors is present in the thigh parts. So that shows the same character of that breast cancer. So this is the evidence that these types of inoculations may happens if the techniques, either faulty techniques has been employed while the surgical procedures. So these six types are for that spread of the malignant cancer, how the malignant cancer spreads. These are the basic things, that's why I'm discussing you. So these are few benign tumors which we have go through this in the one slide: papilloma, lipoma, adenoma, fibroma, hemangioma, and neurofibroma. So I think we have to just stop here now. In the next class, we will discuss later next part.